This is the Round 2 podcast with Galen, Parker, and Stephanie Nicole, where we talk to big thinkers, big dreamers, and big idea havers. Quitting and failing are not the same thing, and we're going to show you why. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whatever time it is where you are. My name is Galen Parker. This is the Round 2 podcast starring Stephanie Nicole. Stephanie Nicole, say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Guys, this is a special episode just for the fact that today is Saturday. We had to switch up some recording dates. Tomorrow, it's Stephanie's big day. She already went out last night. She was out partying late into the evening, just drinking wine, a lot of toast. She crawled into the studio, so she's doing us a favor. She's here the next morning after her event. Stephanie, how does it feel to almost be 1 year older?
It feels regular, very regular.
One good thing you can think about is this: no matter how old you get, I'll always be older. So, hey, look at that. I'll always be.
We're not going to talk about what year you're born. I'm going to ask you that when we get
I don't
off.
mind telling people I'm the big 4-0, baby.
Oh,
Every
are
time
you?
people say like,
But
Galen, you're 34, 35, 36, and I'm just like, you guys are so good to me. But no, I'm happy to be in that. Might get the big 4 in front of me. So feels good. Feels good. I feel like an adult. Like I'm a man. I'm a man child. So this episode that we are doing today is about the pitch. Previous episodes, Stephanie has walked you guys through, business planning, idea creation, ways to kind of get your idea from inside here onto a piece of paper. But now we're at the stage of how do we articulate that to a value or a stakeholder? Because that essentially is what a pitch is. It's me saying, here's my idea. Here's why you should take your hard-earned money that you've been saving up and give it to me so that my dreams can be a reality and you can benefit from that. And I'll be honest with you, Stephanie, a lot of people are bad at making pitches.
I think it's just because we don't understand. I feel like before this episode, didn't understand that I was actually pitching stuff, or that everything in daily life is actually a pitch. So I think that's because people don't realize they have to pitch, or that they have to put like a certain effort forward to get somebody to do something.
And you're to me 100%. We think in a creative mind space a lot of times. That creative mind space is not the business mind space. And so a lot of times people who are entrepreneurs or creatives, they think this is a great idea. You should just hear the idea, hear like the wisp of the idea and immediately be like, oh yeah, but that's just not how business works. In our first episodes, we talked about how many new businesses fail, and people who have money who invest in businesses, they know that too. So they're just like, listen, you got to really kind of convince me because you're probably going to fail. So convince me why I should invest on your idea as opposed to the next idea. And one of the incubators that I have a lot of respect for is called, I believe it's the Pirate Entrepreneurial Pitch Program. Essentially, it's a competition. And they take people from all over the world who have like a great idea. So if Stephanie and I, we had an idea, we want to sell shoes or something like that. So we would write up our business plan and all that stuff, and we'd submit it to them, and then they'd select it, and they would invite us in front of a panel of judges and a crowd, and then you'd have to throw the pitch to them. And that pitch has to have a lot of different components to make it good, because every pitch does. And then they award the winners first, second, third. But the people who win first, they get the seed money for their idea. And to me, that is a wonderful idea. And I wish more people were able to take part of it. And I want you guys to take part of it. I want you guys, the viewers, if you can't even at least watch it, because I think you can watch some of them on YouTube, but to get an idea of why you should be kind of sounding out your pitch. And if you're not sure what a pitch is, here's what we'll tell you. There's some movies that you could watch to kind of give you an idea of what a pitch. So I'm going to ask Stephanie these questions to see what movies she has seen. Stephanie's not a movie watcher, so she's at a gross disadvantage. But I'm a student of the craft.
If it's not on YouTube, I probably haven't seen
That's so
it.
fun. See, I'm a student of the craft, but I'm going to go everyone. So, all right. So, Stephanie, she's going to take notes. You guys take notes. Maybe if you guys are nice to her, Stephanie will do like an event where she live streams and you guys all watch the movies together.
Oh,
see, look at that idea.
from my classes. from my my
Oh
new
yeah, oh
Ray-Ban
guys. So what
glasses
she's
when
talking about? If you guys didn't know, the kid, I got the new Ray-Ban Metas on my face. I got the transition lenses, so they look clear when I go outside. They darken up. But basically, these things take video here. They take picture here. They live stream to Instagram. They live stream to Facebook. They've got an integrated AI in there, so I can ask you questions. It could feed me the answers. It's reading me my text messages. Even as we're doing this, there's people text messaging me. It's in my ear. I had to like slide right to turn it down because I'm like, that's a bit much. But you can also listen to music. It's awesome. It's really cool.
I need those. If y'all thought I was going live too much, now if I get those glasses, it's just gonna be live stream life. Like y'all
Exactly.
just gonna be with me
And
every day.
and the reason why, so Stephanie is kind of, she's in charge of marketing. So you guys are gonna see the Instagram stuff like that. And she's been telling me for like 6 months, Galen, you got to go live with more stuff. But I didn't know how. I couldn't think of like a novel way to do it. Now I'm locked in. I'm on team live stream. People are gonna be sick of us, but I mean and so you know that's how it is.
No, people
But
will
so
love us.
here's the movies. I'm gonna start with an easy one. Jerry Maguire. Stephanie, have you seen Jerry Maguire? Have
Have
you heard
not
of
seen
Jerry
that.
Maguire?
I have not heard of the movie, but I have heard of the person. So I think
That's
that counts.
hilarious. Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise, Cuba Gooding Jr. So good. So in that movie, Jerry Maguire is a salesperson. He's an agent, and like everyone is a salesperson in real life. You guys just don't realize, but he's an agent. He's trying to lock down a new client who he doesn't, on the surface level, does not identify. He has to kind of realize what the issue is. What are some commonalities, and then they could join forces. That's where the expression like "I love black people" because that's something that like Jerry Maguire had to yell to get Cuba Gooding like on board. It is a great movie, great feel good movie.
I
There's
have,
like a love story on. I think Renee Zellweger is like the love interest. Great, definitely worth watching. Very good. All right, we cross out Tommy Boy. Have you seen Tommy Boy? You've not seen Tommy Boy.
have never
Never even heard
seen
Tommy
it.
Boy. Oh man, there's so much glee. Chris Farley, David Spade. This was kind of like before Chris Farley passed. This was in his heyday. This movie and Black Sheep. So Tommy Boy is basically, he's a sales guy. He inherits his father's company. They're selling, I think, some sort of viewers. If you're watching, you can kind of correct me. I think they're selling some sort of manufacturing. He's got to go to his manufacturer, people whose dad used to sell to, that he needs to sell to, and pitch them on a new product. It's beautiful because you see the pitches go wrong in the beginning because he approaches it the same way that a lot of people, they're like, hey, you did business with us before, do it again. And that's not how business works. People are like, oh, well, your competitor came through here, they took us to lunch, they did all these things. And so he learns very quickly, like, oh, I've got to be able to craft a story, a narrative behind our product to make you identify with it and then want to purchase it. Great movie. All right, Tommy Boy, that's another one you got to watch. I know you haven't seen Moneyball, so it's like I'm like it's almost not even important to say. Brad Pitt, great flick, a lot of sales, a lot of stuff in there. That's a good one.
I'm gonna have to watch.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
I
All
have
right.
seen that, and I think I see it three
Okay, so
times.
that's a great pitch movie because there's a lot of micro pitches in there, micro conclusions in there where you have to like where getting someone buy these stocks, getting someone to trust you with their money, getting someone to value the company, getting someone to join your company, getting people to stay, like all those are pitches. Like the scene where they think he's gonna quit, he gives a long speech and then he grabs the mic, he's like, I'm staying, and everyone's like, "Yes, that's a pitch, right?" So now he built all their confidence. He brought them in. The Pursuit of Happyness. Will Smith,
Is that the Will Smith?
the tearjerker.
Yeah, I seen.
I mean, getting those people
Yeah,
to buy into him, like, oh man, that's such a good movie.
that was almost like a single father story,
Yeah, I
though.
mean,
Like,
that's he's trying his hardest to like get that money, take care of his family, get that job. When he's walking through that crowd at the end, he's clapping and the tears coming down. You want to see Galen cry? I'm not afraid to cry. I don't care. I've been through therapy. It's okay to cry. But man, that's a good one. Pursuit of Happiness. Boiler Room. I'm sure you have not seen Boiler Room. That came out in like 1992. It starred Vin Diesel when Vin Diesel had hair and he wasn't as Diesel. It was like
wow,
92.
know
Like
him.
Giovanni Ribici's in there, Ben Affleck's in that, like when they're all young. Boiler Room is about like stocks and scams, and they call it the boiler room because like sales, like I've worked in jobs where you're on a sales floor with a bunch of other people, like trying to like it's like that very high pressure. So that's a good one. Boiler Room's good. And then the number one, oh no, another one that's good is probably The Dilemma. Now, all right.
Mm-mm, haven't
Kevin
seen that.
James, Vince Vaughn. Whew, such a good movie. They are two best friends dealing with life problems, life drama, the stuff that happens with men, sales, and just like families. But they're trying to sell an engine in Detroit, and it's an electric engine in a town where that's the motor city, where it's like we believe in gas and oil and fumes and noise, and now they're trying to sell this electric engine, and they're trying to tell the story and make modify and provide solutions. It's so good to like when they get to the point where they pitch that thing, man, you're ready to take your wallet out and be like, I'm gonna buy one. Like this is like I want them. And now if you're in real estate, this one is like the apex predator of pitch movies. It's called Glengarry Glen Ross. A lot of people have not seen that. It is a good one. If you've ever been a team lead, Stephanie, you've been a team lead. I've been a team lead. If you've ever had an agent get on your team and say, these leads stink, these leads stuck, none of these leads are good, this is the movie for you, because they address that. And they're just like, maybe it's not the leads that suck. And it is like one of those, it can be kind of brash. So like sometimes when team leads are like, oh, I love that movie, that's how I go about business. Do not go about business that way. That'll get you fired or sued by everybody. But the mentality of like, look, we all have to take what we are given and make something out of it. So we can't blame the leads. It's like the worst lead. I'm like, did you call him 17 times? Talk to me after you talked to him and called him 17 times and see if they answered. If you try to get him called, if that after all that doesn't work, all right, then the lead's bad. But until you've done all that, most people, if you know sales, managers of teams, sales managers, hit me up in the comments. I'm telling the truth. That people give up on leads so fast if they don't have that instant gratification. So those are a good list of pitch movies for you guys to watch. But we have to understand, what are the mechanics of a good pitch? What kind of helps it? So the very first thing I think that a good pitch does is identify the problem. So I mean, what do you think that means? Like, why do you have to identify the problem when you're trying to sell someone on something?
I think that you have to identify the problem so that you can use the pain points to kind of deliver your message and let people know that you have a solution for those pain points. So if you don't know the problem, how can you provide a
Nice.
solution?
And for people who don't know, what are pain points? Because some people are probably like, "Oh yeah, pain point." They don't know what pain point is. What's a pain point?
That is just something in someone's life that is holding them back or causing them to worry or causing them some type of pain that they need a
I love it.
solution to.
And the funny thing that I have found, I don't know about you, but I know in my business, I found that with pain points, people like in real life, let's say they got a bad ankle, they've been limping on that ankle for 10 years. It
Oh
hurts, but
man.
they just dealing with pain. And sometimes when you highlight the pain, I'm like, does your ankle hurt? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, how long has it felt that way? They're like, 10 years. I'm like, would you like me to help you with that? Like, would you like to have a life where you, and that's the next part the importance of the pitch is the solution. So now we identify the pain, we remind them of the pain, like, hey, you've been kind of limping for 10 years. You don't have to live your life this way. And then you introduce the solution and say, like, hey, well, me and Stephanie, we make orthopedic ankle braces that usually relieves probably 90% of the pain that people have when they're walking. Is that something you think you would be interested in? Just like, wouldn't you love to be able to walk with your grandkids? Wouldn't you love to be able to walk to the mailbox? Wouldn't you love to be able to walk on a golf course and not have that nagging, annoying pain? See, that's how you take your problem, present the solution, but you do it in a narrative. You do it in a story, because that's how people identify things. The third part of it is going to be identifying your market. Why is it, Seven? You tell them, why is it so important that they understand who their market is?
I think you should know who you're talking to so that you know exactly what to say. And if you know who you're talking to, you can do research on them, like figure out where they shop at, where they, go on a daily basis, what their problems are, what their worries are, what is holding them back from taking the next level. So I just think you got to figure out who you're trying to get in front of or who you're trying to help in order to help. Well, you got to know who to help in
Yeah,
order to
that
help
that's
them.
spot on. If you don't believe us, watch television between the hours of like 3 and 6 p.m. and notice how many commercials talk about Centrum Silver, retirement funds, funeral arrangements, medical
Oh wow.
procedures. these people know that the people who are watching TV between this time, the market are people who are probably like 65 and older. So all the commercials are all about them. Like, hey, does your back hurt? Have you taken this pill? Have you done this? Do you have a life insurance plan for your family? Like they have identified the market, and you've got to do the same thing. So in the example from earlier, if Steph and I were trying to pitch to orthopedic shoes, we're probably not going to go to like 19-year-olds or college campuses, right? Like that wouldn't make sense. I'm probably going to see, well, can I go to retirement homes? Can I go to, the apothecary, places like I'm going to reach out to AARP and see like, well, where do you guys advertise? So you have to identify your market. And also in your identifying your market, you have to determine, does your market have money? Because that's a big one.
Oh man, having no
Yeah.
money.
So it's like, perfect. So for the real estate, if your market doesn't have money, then you have to do what Stephanie does. She does a lot of stuff online where she's showing them where the money is. She's putting people in
Yeah.
contact with the people who do have money, who can help you. She can like kind of help you kind of figure out where the money is going to be. So like it, it's a great, it's kind of like a nice little like segue of sort of like what you do. She does it really beautifully. So if you guys aren't following her on social media, go ahead and do that. And I've already forgot to do this, but if you guys haven't done so already, hopefully you found some value in this episode. Feel free to like and subscribe. Hit those below buttons. Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Hit us in the comments and say, Galen, you're talking nonsense, or Stephanie, you're right on. Give us more of that. That to me the most makes the most advance. So the next portion of it I highlighted was the advantage. Because believe it or not, you're not the only person trying to sell them on a product or maybe a very similar product. And so you have to tell them why your thing is better than some, and that's something that you should be really passionate about. You should really know, like, so in our example, we're doing orthopedic shoes. There's a ton of people, Dr. Scholl's, there's a ton of people putting out the orthopedic shoes. But maybe me and Stephanie say, hey, well, ours is American made, locally sourced. It's the advantage. We're gonna get it to you quickly. We're local, we're gonna come to you, whatever it is. Do you know who Joel Bieber is, Stephanie? You ever heard that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joel.
Yes, only commercials and stuff
Very
though.
good. Joel Bieber in the early 90s identified who his market was. They were people watching TV. And he figured out, he obviously knew what the problem was. He knew he was the solution. So he had to figure out what is the advantage. So that's why he started said, I'll come to you no matter wherever you are. He had pictures of him on a boat, in a spaceship, in a car. He's like,
Oh
I'm coming
wow.
to you wherever you are. I mean, it was like early, the mid 90s. He still has, but he got away from some of the outlandish stuff, but he's a household name. Like, isn't that funny? Like, I
He
randomly just
is.
said, "Do you know that person?" You were like, "Oh yeah," because of the commercials. Everyone knows he's already locked in this area. It's because he had the advantage. Do other lawyers, will they come to you? Of course they will. But he's the guy that we know that's synonymous with, like, hey, you're in trouble. He's gonna come to you. I think that's what it is. Like, if you're in trouble, I'll come to you. Like, great job.
Yeah.
And then the one of the other things is in this is like the second to last one is the results. You got to kind of have to prove that your product, and this is one that I know Stephanie would love because Stephanie is a data and analytics person. And with the results, you have to show people the data. Why is that important, Steph?
Because people have to understand that if they do come to you with their pain points, and of course you're going to want them to exchange like something of monetary value, they're going to want you to show them that one, you have gotten results before. But I don't think that people care about the results of others. They just want to be sure that you are going to do everything within your power to get them the result or the solution to their pain. So that's why it's
I
important.
agree. And sometimes I think like I read a lot of reviews like on Amazon. Because if you try to sell me something, you're like, hey, Galen, it works. And I'm like, all right, has it worked for anyone else? If you can't show me that someone else trusted you with their money or with their, and it worked for them, I'm usually kind of hesitant, kind of like, I don't know. So like, that's why I wrote down, you need to have testimonials, studies, examples, things like that to kind of really highlight. One of the things that I've been working on in my business is like, I'm going back to my clients and I'm getting them on camera and I'm interviewing them, and because that shows results. It's like if I say like, hey, I'm awesome to work with, I'm going to be knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than the average other agent or investor or realtor. But don't trust me. Because of course, what else am I going to say? Here's two people that didn't know me just like you didn't know me, and they did. What was it like for you? And they're like, oh, this is how it was. This is how he made us feel. This was the end result. And now I can just sit back and go, like,
Yeah, and they're in a whole new house
mm-hmm.
right now, so you can't say like you didn't
Yeah,
get
he
them
didn't
a
give me a house.
house.
They're like the videos that I'm taking, they're sitting on their porches. They're sitting on the steps of their houses. Like some of them, like we'll be in the house. So I'm just like, this is what you need to see. But I think now and now more people need to kind of grasp like it's more than just being like, hey, I'm the best. That's not a
Hmm.
pitch. It's like, hey, this is tough. This is hard. Wouldn't you like to have a better experience, a concierge experience? Here's the example. Here's my results of other people who felt like you. Hey, talk to them, people. They talk to them. Now, what do you think? All right. And then at the very last thing for everything you do is the call to action. Stephanie, tell them what the
Yes.
call to action means.
A call to action is actually asking people to do something for you. Because my one of my sayings is if you ask people to do nothing, they will absolutely do
Did you guys hear
nothing.
that?
So
Tell it to them again, Stephanie.
if you ask people for nothing, they will do nothing. But if you ask them for something specific, you'll have more people give you that specific thing. Like, I feel like there's a saying out, especially with women, where they're like, oh, the women who ask for nothing should deserves it all. Listen, if you're a woman and you ask for nothing, you will receive absolutely nothing. It's a lot of women out here thinking that, oh, if they just don't ask for anything and be easy and be feminine and all of that. No, you got to open your mouth, because at the end of the day, these men can't read your mind. So they don't know that you need something specific unless you say you need something specific. So it's the same thing with a call to action. Make sure you're asking people for something or letting them know what you're looking for, because some people won't get that from your message. You just got to
I'm
let
gonna
them know.
run what you just said for the last 30 seconds as the clip for this episode. Just every people are gonna be sick of this because it's so true. People, not just women but men, people feel like they're just like, oh, you should just know that my product's the best. You should just like you saw it. You should know that the service is like, no. That's why we say call today, reach out today,
Yes.
DM me now, like and follow and subscribe now, because people will watch the show and be like, man, that was great. But no, hit that follow button, subscribe, stay
Hit
up
it.
to date, stay tapped in, stay plugged in. Like we are telling you to do something because it benefits you and it benefits us. So that is the portions of the pitch. Now, if you listen to all this and you said, I got a great idea, but I just can't do it. That's just I'm not you. I can't do that. Well, guess what? There are people you can hire everywhere that can help you come up with a pitch, deliver the pitch. Now obviously that's going to be factored into like the cost of your product, but there's people everywhere that they'll help you develop the story, the narrative, to connect with your end users, to give you a better shot, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people who just think I'm not going to do no pitch. I'm just going to put the product out there. I'm like, yeah, you'll probably fail. So if you need help, reach out to someone. Hey, DM us. I can probably put you in contact with someone, but make sure that that is a component of your business, because we want you to be successful. This podcast is about the people who failed but triumphed, who didn't give up. So before you fail, make sure you're doing all of the things right, or just doing some of these things just to kind of give yourself some advantage. And if you do all these things that we highlight in all these episodes, well, then you definitely have increased your like your likeliness, your chances of being a success. Stephanie, parting words for them, for the peeps.
I don't have any parting words except for do better
Do
and do
better
the
and do the
work.
work. Be concise, be passionate, be a storyteller. My name is Galen Parker. This is Stephanie and Nicole. This is the Round Two podcast. We thank you guys for listening. See you next time. Bye bye.
See you.